Hello. First off, I want to thank you all for coming. And I also want to start by asking you a question. How would you feel if I deleted you and unfriended you from Facebook? You don't have to answer that question. Just think about it and let it resonate with you while I give this speech. Think about how and why you would feel that way. It's going to be important for you to think about today because I'm going to tell you about the negative impacts that social media and social networking have on people. And my hope is to help you think about how your online activities impact you and to help you have a healthier social media experience going forward. So for that reason, I'm also going to talk about some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way that are going to help you counteract the negative impacts that social media can have on you. I personally gave up social media several months ago and has benefited my mental health in many ways. I pretty much feel like a brand new person. Speaking of facts, I have a handout here, which you see me holding. I'll give it to you after the show ends, and you can look over it, and if you have any questions, you'll see where all my sources came from and all the information I'm going to tell you about today. Social media and social networking can be beneficial at times, although it comes with risk and many problems. Too much time can be spent online, and it can lead to depression, attention span problems, and even addiction. You can develop addictive behaviors and start with your online habits and carry into other aspects of your life. And as you see from the statistics behind me, social media and suicide go hand in hand. And as you see, there are approximately 17.4 billion Facebook users. Around 68% of US adults are Facebook users. And approximately 74% of the total population are active social media users. So as you can see, with such large numbers, it's easy to see that their change is very necessary and something that needs to be done about it. And concerning that, a study done by Dr. Siegman, which I read in a scholarly journal, says that approximately 1.53 million people a year will die from suicide. And there's increasing evidence that this behavior of using social media affects and changes people's lives, especially in teenagers. And in another journal that I read by Dr. Berger says suicide has been identified not only as an individual phenomenon, but is also influenced by social and environmental factors. So social media plays a big part in that. Some cases I read about were brought on by cyberbullying. And cyberbullying is a huge problem, and it's linked to increases in suicide rates. So it can be linked to the cause of a lot of the suicide rates. And even when suicide doesn't occur, social media can have a detrimental effect on your mental health. So what does this have to do with me, you guys may ask? Well, today I'm trying to persuade you that you should change how you view social media and to take a look at how it impacts your life. I would like to persuade you to make a positive change, and there's several ways that I can tell you that will help you to do so. The first one is to limit your time online, limit the time that you're spending on the internet. And the second one would be to put away your computer well before bedtime to promote healthy sleep. And if you're using it after dark, then dim your screen so that you can start to wind down and have a more positive, healthy sleep. And basically, if you use networking for business purposes or some important purpose, then you got to use it. But if not, then I suggest just take a break from social media completely, altogether, to see how you feel. So, in conclusion, today I talked to you about some of the risks of using social media I provided some statistics and some other facts on the subjects. And then finally I gave you some tips to help you become a healthier person and to have a healthier experience with your social media use. So lastly, I'm just going to give you this handout that I mentioned earlier that you guys can look over. And I'm going to leave you with a quote that I have, that I found from a guy named Jeremy Kent. And if you could take one, just pass it down when I'm done, thanks. The quote by Jeremy Kent says, "Tweet others the way you want to be tweeted." So in that, that's my closing. Thank you very much for coming.